Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of OffLaine here on the Funny Fucker server. We are back. Yes, we are. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you are staying safe and healthy on whatever day you are watching this on. One of the main things that I wanted to chat about while I did a couple of things, was I wanted to chat specifically about, let me just get this pulled up here. Uh, Specifically about like game design and the way that Minecraft works. Um Now I don't usually talk about game design ever. I don't think that that's been a normal thing that I talked about. But at the same time, I do indeed find myself thinking about it every once in a while. And I will say, this is mostly inspired by watching hbomberguy's video about the Fallout series. But it was such an interesting video. It made me think of Bethesda's other works, which he hasn't played. Specifically, it made me think about Skyrim and one of the most famous series, Elder Scrolls. And one of the points that one of the points that he makes specifically in this in those videos are that Bethesda's design philosophy does not work well with the Fallout games. And while I do kind of agree, I do agree that the Fallout games are kind of, they have a problem. And it is, in my opinion, directly related to Bethesda's design philosophy. It made me think of how the Elder Scrolls works. A lot of people mentioned how Bethesda has a certain design philosophy with they have a certain design philosophy with wanting you to experience the world first. And then after that, experiencing the story. Which, it doesn't make a lot of sense that that would be the case. But it's interesting because growing up, I grew up with the Elder Scrolls games. And growing up with the Elder Scrolls games, more specifically, I grew up with Skyrim. I didn't grow up with the Elder Scrolls games. But growing up with Skyrim, it kind of changes how you approach a lot of situations. Because I agree with hbomberguy. When you play an Elder Scrolls game, it feels like you're being escorted along a story. They have certain things they want you to experience a certain way. And in Fallout 3, for example, it didn't really manage that well. But of course, I am an Elder Scrolls kid, not a Fallout kid. So I never grew up with the Fallout games. Um, but I noticed as soon as he pointed it out, I noticed it in the Elder Scrolls as well. And it's such a weird thing because the way that the Elder Scrolls is made, the way that Skyrim is made more specifically, is that Skyrim feels like it's made to have you explore it. It is a very intricately designed world, executed in a way that makes you want to explore every little nook and cranny, because everything was handcrafted. But then you get to the point where you have you get to the point where you don't really have an idea of what you're doing, and you just end up following the very obvious, very big quest marker on your screen. And that's just kind of how Bethesda's done it ever since. I even saw it with Starfield. And one of the best things I've ever done was not follow the fucking quest markers. Recently, I tried playing Skyrim in a way that was unorthodox to Bethesda's design philosophy. And that was, no, it wasn't playing the game normally like you would expect. It was actually using the it was actually avoiding the fast travel system at all costs. Because when you see the fast travel system, it ruins a lot of how it works, a lot of how the game works. For example, I would walk from Whiterun to Ivarstead for the 7,000 steps. And when you're walking up there, because you can't take a carriage there, they don't let you just fast travel there for the first time, you find multiple things. There's a dog that is on the side of the road that directs you over to its dead owner's house. And then it's your dog now. It's your companion. It wants to follow you. And then you have... And then once you get into Ivarstead, things pretty much only get better from there. You have two NPCs talking to each other. And one of them's talking about retiring. They're like, wow, I don't have the time to do this anymore. And the other guy is his friend. He's like, wow, I can't believe this. You're really thinking of retiring? He's like, yeah. I'm old. I don't have the time to go up the 7,000 steps anymore. And in that same moment, you could offer a helping hand. You can go up to the guy and you could be like, hey, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just feeling a little bummed out because I can't go up the steps. It's really dangerous, especially with the Civil War. You're like, well, I could take it up for you. And then that gives you an incentive. It gives you a reason to go up. Other than, you know, you were called by the Greybeards and yada yada yada, who gives a shit. One of the best examples I saw in H's video, I'm just gonna call him H, in H's video, was how in Fallout New Vegas, not Fallout New Vegas, it was Fallout 2, if I remember right. In Fallout 2, you go over, or no, it's Fallout 1, because you're trying to find the water chip. In Fallout 1, you're tasked with going to a nearby town and collecting and seeing if you can't find a rope. Because the vault that you need to go into, that had the water, that should have the water chip that you think does, doesn't. I mean, it doesn't, but like, you need to get down into it to find out that it doesn't. So you need to get rope. So you go over to this other town, and when you ask the shopkeep, he almost gets murdered. You're like, oh shit, why the fuck did you get murdered? And then you find out that there's this like huge, in H's words, you end up getting dragged into this like buddy cop type of scenario with like a bunch of hijinks and shit, and it's really fun. But then, and that levels you up, and it gives you more levels, and then it gives you a fun experience. The way that Skyrim goes about it is they have two guys talking at the beginning of the 7,000 steps, and they're like, man, I wish I could bring that up, and then you grab it for them, and then you bring it up. But it would have been such a smarter design philosophy if they did something along the lines of how it was done in Fallout, in New Vegas. Why is this broken? Huh? Maybe I'll, let me grab an observer real quick. But yeah, you get, if you followed through with how, if Bethesda even took a single, like, second, because they have, if you've played Skyrim at all, you know that fuck-ass frost troll that's up the 7,000 steps. Everyone fucking hates them. This frost troll is a good-for-nothing piece of shit, and is over-leveled, and you get your ass whooped every time. But at the same time, if they made Iverstead, like, have 2 more quests. Oh, is it because it's... But yeah, you're given so many different quests and like little things you could do to help people around you. That it feels like it could be a comprehensive world. The bones are there where you feel like if you had a Fallout, if you had a Fallout New Vegas situation where, let's take for example, you have someone, you need to go up the 7,000 steps, and you need to ask someone how to go up because you're not sure. This thing even fucking crafting? It's not. Why is this not? Oh my god, it's because you're constantly powered by this. Isn't it? Oh my god, it is. But yeah, because the way that Fallout works is you have so many, because the way that Skyrim works more specifically, once you get to the point where you have genuine options, you're kind of fucked. Because you'll be walking, like, let's take another example real quick. Let's say I wanted to go to Riften because I needed to start the DLC, the Dragonborn DLC, or not the Dragonborn, the Dawnguard DLC, and I didn't have, and I needed to go to Riften. I could either walk there, or I could take a carriage. The carriage, obviously, makes it so that you could just go back and forth between it. Doesn't matter. Technically, you could also, like, commit a crime in the Rift, and then get transported all the way to Riften. But that's not as fun. You know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the specifics. But, yeah, you can... Actually, it is kind of fun. But, regardless. The point is, you have a whole world that is handcrafted to entertain and tell a good story with world building. But the problem with it is that it seems like the people that made the fast travel system had a fucking grudge on the people that made the map. Because it's so fucking easy to just ignore everything and just go from point to 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 point. And then just act like nothing's wrong. Okay, that's all working. Good. These are good. These picked up more. Let's grab some of these. I'm gonna throw them into here. This. 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 But yeah, it feels like the people that made the fast travel system had a fucking grudge on the people that made the actual world building. It's like they hated Bethesda. And I don't get why. Because you sit there and if you go through this world, you'll find things that almost nobody else has found. Except for the people who have been like Camelworks. The people that have like explored every single aspect of this game. You'll find things that nobody else on their first playthrough has ever found if you just walk. And enjoy the walk. The reason why I brought this up is because it brought up a concept to me that I was very much so not familiar with, which was enjoying the journey instead of focusing on the destination. And other games like Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 1 and 2, if I recall correctly, not everything is enterable, and that's okay. Not everything has to be enterable. Not everything has to be intricate. Especially if you have issues with... Okay, you're not named. You're just a bee. Why are you here? Where's this little guy going? Where is he going? He's circling the pillar. Little guy, you're gonna get yourself killed. Come on. But yeah, as I was saying. Oh my god, where'd he go? How did he elude me? He's a little bumblebee. There you are. Come on. Come on. Get over here. Poor thing. You must be so scared. Come on. I'll bring you back home. And if not home, I'll bring you a new home. People here are really nice. Come on. Come on. Come on, little guy. Come on. In you go. Yeah, there you go. I'll check on you in a little bit, okay? But yeah, as I was saying, Elder Scrolls games are weird. On one hand, they want you to explore their intricately crafted world, but on the other hand, they also just want you to do anything else. Is that not working anymore? Yeah, it's working. Okay, good. But yeah, I think that I love the Elder Scrolls games, and they're a big inspiration for my work. I think that the Elder Scrolls games are some of the best games ever made. If you've talked to me in private, you'd know that. But at the same time, I do now have a new understanding of the fact that while they might not be as good as I originally thought, they still have their downsides. While they still have their downsides, they're still damn good games. And I feel like once they lean into their design philosophy a little bit more, that's when those games will go from really good to almost perfect, you know? Oh, that one's my favorite. But yeah. I could have gone much longer with this video. I decided not to because I didn't want to make another hour-long video about just me rambling, you know? So I'm going to end it off here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, go check and see if you're subscribed down below. It helps me out. It lets me know that I'm doing the right thing. And I will see you guys again in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good one. I'll see you around. Bye-bye!